What's up, everyone? Champ Bet's back again for another UFC predictions video. This time for UFC Louisville, Cannonier versus Nassourdine Imavov. Super excited for this card. Very excited for this main event, which I'll get more into. I think I'm gonna have a pretty big bet on it. And yeah, let's get into it. But first, let's go over what happened last time at UFC 302: Islam Makhachev versus Dustin the Diamond Poirier. We did pretty good. We're up on units again. Not as much as we were hoping, but no complaints. Up is up. I got everything right betting wise except for Mitch Raposo. He let me down pretty bad. He looked pretty sucky, but it is what it is. So yeah, we can go through each one of these in the topology real quick. So let me go ahead and bring up topology. So I went 8 for 12 in picks specifically. We're up 2.68 units about. So if we round up 3, but 2.68. Andre Lima versus Mitch Raposo. Mitch did not throw. Andre Lima I knew was really good, and obviously he is really good. He cheated a bunch, but it wouldn't have changed anything. Mitch Raposo just wasn't there to throw. He kept talking in the corner about I'm gonna out cardio this guy. He didn't really do anything to try and go ahead and do that. And yeah, when he was able to go ahead and shoot on Andre Lima, he's had a lot of success. But it is what it is. One crazy scorecard gave it to Mitch Raposo, and I got really excited. But yeah, no robbery to that one, and I didn't deserve it. Jocelyn Edwards loses to Eileen Perez. I was wrong about this one too. Oh my god, I don't think these girls are good. I stand by that. I was really just going off, maybe thinking, okay, maybe Jocelyn Edwards is gonna outlast the storm of Eileen Perez and like finish her in like the last round. I thought Jocelyn Edwards won round 3. I thought she was winning round 2, but the knockdown from the spinning back fist, that was the fight. And yeah, Eileen Perez did good in round 1 and round 2. Well done, Eileen Perez. Probably gonna fade both of these two in the future still. Next up, Basil Fez versus Mickey Gall. Basil's able to get the win in a very close fight, in a fight that I think is low key, like a fight of the year candidate. This fight was bananas. Watching it live, I was really worried about Basil Fez round 3. Mickey Gall has still got it, and Basil Fez was able to bank in rounds 1 and 2 by doing enough damage. Mickey Gall definitely got round 3. And yeah, it's just, or maybe I'm forgetting wrong. It might be round 3 Basil Fez, but Mickey Gall definitely got around in there, and it low key could have been scored to Mickey Gall. I wouldn't have been shocked that the judges went ahead and did that, but I mean Basil Fez's chin is ridiculous. They can't deny that. But dude's an absolute dog, and he showed his dog in this fight. Great fight. Phil Rowe versus Jake Matthews. I went with Phil Rowe. I wasn't super confident in that one, and yeah, Phil Rowe lost because he's did really stupid things. Round 3, he could have won that round if he didn't go ahead and try and take the back like he did. But it is what it is in the moment. It was a close fight going into that round 3. And yeah, Jake Matthews was able to capitalize on Phil Rowe's mistake and win like that. So good job on Jake Matthews. Next fight up the card, Grant Dawson versus Joe Selecki. This was my big bet of the night. My big bet of the night. I had 6.58 units on Grant Dawson because I didn't see a world where Joe Selecki would be able to freaking do anything. I was on the point besides round 1. Round 1, Joe Selecki had a good guillotine that was definitely in on Grant Dawson. Grant Dawson had to go on his back to try and get out of the guillotine, and he did a phenomenal job, hustling Joe Selecki. And he did get cut in round 1, like from elbows to the head, and Grant Dawson didn't let that deter him, and he kept going. And man, it was great work from Grant Dawson. He looked phenomenal, exactly how I thought he would look. I hope he looked really bad on the feet. He still does. I don't like Grant Dawson on the feet ever, but man, that dude's grappling is next level. So yeah, that's what I was banking on this fight. And when I heard from interviews he was going to do that, I was very happy. Next fight up the card, Jelton Almeida versus Alexander Romanov. Man, Romanov just had nothing for Jelton Almeida on the ground. Jelton Almeida had an awful takedown attempt, but then switched to a body lock, was able to take Alexander Romanov down, and that was basically about it. There was nothing much else I could really, like, what else is there to say? Romanov was able to, oh, not Romanov, Almeida was able to find the neck with the rear naked choke, and Jelton gets it done pretty easy. Roman Kopylov versus Cesar Almeida. Kopylov won. I don't know what that one judge saw giving Almeida rounds 2 and 3. Interesting scorecard. Roman Kopylov, as I said in the breakdown, I thought he would win via being much faster. This dude is really fast, and he's a great MMA striker. And I didn't think he'd wrestle, but him wrestling, it just made the fight even easier for him. His cardio did seem to get held back because of the wrestling. He's not used to wrestling, so doing that is not easy. Cesar Almeida just kept trying to hold on to the ground, but couldn't do anything. It was a great win from Kopylov. He showed he's an MMA fighter. I'm very high on him. I'm very glad I ended up betting him. Didn't bet him too much, but he did end up doing very well. Randy Brown versus Zaleski dos Santos. I can't pronounce this guy's name for the life of me. Zaleski dos Santos. I cannot pronounce that name for the life of me. Randy Brown did his thing. Round 2, Zaleski did very well to go ahead and get Randy Brown down to the ground and be able to really grapple him. And man, those chokes really got me worried, as I did bet a good amount on Randy Brown. He's my second biggest bet on the card. Like almost 2 units. Not 2 units, but almost 2 units on him. But Randy Brown on the feet, he did his thing. He did his work. He's able to outstrike Zaleski. And man, those knees he hit Zaleski, he took those like a freaking champ. Shout out to Zaleski. That dude is still so tough, and he's still really good at his age. But yeah, I thought what I said in the breakdown was pretty accurate. The size difference, like the length difference, as well as the speed difference, is going to be everything in this fight. And for the most part, it pretty much was. Randy Brown did very well. Did cheat a bit. I won't lie. He did cheat a bit with the fingers being out, but great work by Randy Brown nonetheless. Nico Price beats Alex Morono. I was wrong on this one. Alex Morono, he was the most gas I've ever seen him. I was pretty shocked about that. And with him, I thought he won round 1, but like from then on, he had nothing in the gas tank, and Nico really put it on Alex Morono. Nothing else I could really need to say. Great win by Nico Price. He bounces back and win in the rematch. Kevin Holland beats Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. I said by submission, which made me feel pretty proud, but I don't bet methods. It's, for the most part, it's not what I do. I'm very bad at methods and rounds. But yeah, Holland wins via submission. Mikhail is able to knock down Kevin Holland. It doesn't say it's a knockdown in the stats, but in my eyes, that was a knockdown, and really put the hurt on Kevin Holland. But Kevin Holland was able to keep composure and get the armbar like beautifully. I think Mikhail Oleksiejczuk was thinking, okay, I'm gonna get my arm broken. I'm gonna keep fighting through it. But the fight ended. Like Herb Dean ended the fight, and that's how Kevin Holland won. Is great performance of Kevin Holland to like endure. Next fight, Sean Strickland beats Paulo Costa. I wasn't super confident going in, but as the fight went on, I was like, oh, this should be Sean Strickland all day, because man, I didn't expect Paulo Costa to really go back as much as he did. I thought he'd put like a little more down in his shots and try and hit Strickland with more. The jab to the body up by Costa was money, but he didn't really do anything else to try and add on to like the jab to the body. It was great work by Strickland. He controlled the whole fight basically. Yeah, great work. And next fight of the card, Islam Makhachev beats Dustin Poirier with some the beautiful Darce choke in round 5. In round 5, he was able to go ahead and get a leg whip. I believe it's a leg whip in wrestling, and go ahead and get Dustin to the ground, go for a guillotine, then switch positions, then lead into a Darce. It was beautiful. It was a great performance by Islam. Islam showed that he's got that dog in him. Dustin Poirier was not no shell of himself. He put up a freaking fight, and there were moments I was like, when I was watching Islam, I was like, Islam, what the hell are you doing? Why are you trying to strike with him going forward like you are? I was like, what are you doing? This is really some of it was really dumb, but his boxing looked a lot sharper in like rounds, like the later rounds. I thought Islam Makhachev, and the grappling difference is obviously such a big factor for Islam. He looked freaking phenomenal. That tie clinch from Islam. It's a thing of beauty. It's a thing of beauty. Those knees, I don't know how Dustin's able to take those. These dude's a freaking dog, as I said. Great performance to go out on and maybe even be his last of his career. There's no shame in losing to Islam at all. It was an absolute all-time fight in my eyes. Islam was able to win, and I parlayed Islam with all my bets, and ended up working out very well. Yeah, maybe not the best bet because the odds were pretty sucky, but it is what it is. He ended up winning. At the end of the day, I guess that's all that really matters. But yeah. Now for UFC Louisville. Let's get into it right away. First fight of the card, we got Puja Tomar versus Rayane Amanda. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name. I didn't study this one all that intently. I'm going with Amanda to be able to find a sub some point in round 2. All of Puja's losses have been to finishes, and I think that's what's gonna happen. I don't think on the feet she's a dog. I would like her like that, but on the ground, which I think Amanda's got like a big advantage in, I think she's gonna be able to find a sub somewhere within that time period. So yeah, I think she's gonna be able to get a sub. What round? I have no idea. I wouldn't bet round in that one. I think Amanda gets a sub against Puja. I don't think it doesn't have that great of takedown defense or really a ground game. I more so mean. Next fight, Cody Stamann versus Taylor Lapilus. This is a great fight, and I'm leaning Taylor Lapilus to win a decision. I like Cody Stamann. I think his wrestling is very good, but Taylor Lapilus showed in the last fight against Farid Basharat. It's tough to wrestle that guy. He is a little low volume, but he picks his shots so well, and I think that's what's gonna really take it to Cody Stamann and have him win this fight. I like Taylor Lapilus a lot, and I think he's gonna win this fight pretty easily. Maybe not, but I think he's gonna win that one. Am I considering a bet on Lapilus a little bit? The odds on Lapilus, let me look. -275. I might pass, but if I put a bet on him, it's going to be really small. I think for this card, I'm going to have like a bunch of pretty small bets with maybe like a few ones I'm pretty confident in as bigger bets. But yeah. Next fight up the card, Eduarda Mora versus Denise Gomes, who is -180 or 170. This book isn't it? -170 on Bovada favorite. I'm going Eduarda Mora to probably. Does she get a sub? It's sub or decision. I'll say sub. Let's have fun with methods. I think she's able to get a sub on Denise Gomes. She did lose to Angela Hill. I'll give Denise Gomes some respect. I'll say decision. Mora has really good has pretty good wrestling, undefeated of course. And we saw in Denise Gomes' last fight against Angela Hill, she was able to get pretty much like wrestled in that fight by Angela Hill. And I think Eduarda Mora is probably better in that area than Angela Hill. I think that's a tough ask for Denise Gomes, and that's really the main reason why I'm going Eduarda here. I think she wins by keeping this fight on the ground, threatening submissions, doing enough damage to win. I think that's an Eduarda Mora win. Next fight up the card, Daniel Marcos versus John Castaneda. I like my boy Sexy Mexi in this fight to win a decision. I think Sexy Mexi is freaking incredible, and I'm a little bit of a doubter of Daniel Marcos. I am. I don't think he's that great. So why don't I think he's that great? Let's get into it. Simon Oliveira. You beat Simon Oliveira, the god of the guillotine, as I've dubbed him. He just has a guillotine, nothing else. He's not one of a win in the UFC because of that. Davy Grant. In my eyes, Davy Grant won that fight 30-27. Pretty freaking clearly, in my eyes. I don't think And like Daniel Marcos in that fight, just moving back and throwing little volume. I'm just not a fan of that. I did not like that at all. And the Orichi Lang fight, I did go with Orichi Lang to win that fight, the Mongolian Murderer. Mongolian Murderer didn't look so great in that fight. I'll be honest, he didn't look good. Although I will stand by this. At the end, he was starting to pick up some steam, but then Marcos hits him with a shot to the groin. And Orichi Lang couldn't do anything else from there. He was hurt really bad. I love you, Mongolian Murderer. Always be in my heart. UFC 261, I was there. But John Castaneda in this fight, I think he brings more of a, I didn't even say it, like a mixed martial arts game. Sexy Mexican wrestle. He can wrestle, and I think the wrestling is going to be able to provide Daniel Marcos a lot of problems. And Sexy Mexi also, John Castaneda, is no joke on the feet. He's freaking fast on the feet. And I think with the mixing of martial arts, it's mixed martial arts after all, I think John Castaneda can really put it on Daniel Marcos. If you remember that Daniel Santos fight, John Castaneda showed he can freaking go. Like, he hurt Daniel Santos in that fight, but he gassed out because of it. I don't think he's really going to hurt Daniel Marcos here, but I think he's going to be able to have success and do whatever, maybe not whatever he wants. Maybe that's a little much, but he's going to be able to mix up his game of martial arts, and I think he's going to win like that. I love Sexy Mexi. I got him at plus 125 odds on Bovada. I'm very proud of that. It made me feel really smart. When the line moves, it's right now it's now John Castaneda's slight dog again, but the line keeps moving. Every time I look, it's like evens, or Castaneda's a slight dog. It's like just an even favorite, or not even favorite. I can't speak. An even dog, like where you get plus 100. I mean, I said what I think. I think Sexy Maxi is going to win this one. I think he's a very live underdog. Or maybe favorite in some books. He was a favorite at one point, so yeah. Next fight of the card. Andrea Lee versus Montana De La Rosa. This is a great fight. I'm very intrigued by this matchup. I think I'm going to go with Montana De La Rosa to win a decision. Montana De La Rosa, I think, is one of the most underrated women on this roster. I think her wrestling is sublime. Her loss to Tatiana Suarez aged super well, because I thought she looked pretty good. She's the one who gave Suarez the biggest problems of her freaking she's come back in her run. And it was her first fight, to be fair, so I think it's fair to mention that. But being able to compete in the wrestling with Tatiana Suarez, to me, says a lot. I don't care if it's not Suarez's weight class. Suarez is a big girl anyways. I think Montana De La Rosa is good, and I think we've seen Andrea Lee have trouble with the wrestling in many of her fights, like with Miranda Maverick, definitely. Macy Barber, I believe she had some trouble. I'm trying to remember. It's been a bit since I watched that fight. Arujo, she definitely had trouble with the wrestling. I think Montana De La Rosa can go ahead and bring in that wrestling. To be fair to Andrea Lee, I know she trained with Tisha Torres, who's a great wrestler of her own, so I'm not super, is Montana De La Rosa going to smoke Andrea Lee? I'm not thinking that at all, but I'm very not high. Maybe not high. I like Montana De La Rosa, and I think she can go ahead and get a win here in a fight where both girls' backs are against the wall. I like that she's younger. This is a rematch, and they've already fought. Montana De La Rosa has the motivation to come back and get a win here. I think Montana De La Rosa is going to be able to get the victory here. I like her in that fight. Next fight up the card. Brad Katona versus Jesse Butler. Does Brad Katona get let's say decision? I don't think Jesse Butler is UFC level. I think Brad Katona is UFC level. Jesse Butler is coming down from fighting Jim Miller and getting knocked out on short notice. Did it again to UFC, that's fair. He's going to be the much bigger guy, much longer guy, but even then, I don't even think that matters against Brad Katona. I think Brad Katona is so much better than this guy. He's a minus 500 favorite for a reason. I think it's safe to you're safe to parlay Brad Katona. I'm parlaying him this weekend. I'm only willing to parlay him at minus 500. I'm not interested in parlaying him any further because I know the odds are going to get this even more disgusting. But yeah, it's Brad Katona. I think, to all day. Brad Katona looked, he looked all right against Garen Armfield. I thought Garen Armfield won that fight. I picked Garen Armfield to win. Garen Armfield's no joke. He's got good boxing. Very good boxing. But Brad Katona had success with the grappling. I think he can have good success with grappling here against Jesse Butler. So I like Brad Katona here. Next fight up the card. Carlos Prates versus Charles Radke. This is an interesting fight. I'm going Prates to win a decision, but I'm not super confident. What are the odds looking like for this fight, actually? Minus 240, Prates. I think the line is going to get closer as we get closer to the fight. But here's how I see this fight, because I think Charles Radke can have success, maybe have success with the he's got a great chin. He can wrestle. But we did see in Prates' last fight, he did struggle against Trevin Giles. And I think that's a little bit of a red flag for a lot of people. But Giles has a great jab. There's no doubt that guy has a great jab. I think Prates is going to be able to handle the wrestling of Radke. And because of that, it's a different style matchup. And I don't think Radke has the same, kind of jab or even, any... He can fight on the feet. He's got good skills on the feet. But I think the jab of Giles is giving Prates so much problems. I don't think Radke is giving the problems that Giles gave Prates in this fight. And I think because of that, Prates is going to be able to keep this fight on the feet and do what he wants. Maybe not do what he wants. He's going to do what he needs to do to win this fight on the feet. Because Prates on the feet is so nasty. He's a super nice Muay Thai striker. Out of the fighting nerds in Brazil. I like him to win this fight. But I think Radke is not a bad underdog if you want to. If you think he wins, I don't blame you. And I think he's not a bad bet at all at the odds he's at. But I do think Prates is able to win a decision. Maybe get a KO, but Radke is a tough son of a gun. I'll give him some credit there. I'll say decision Prates. Next fight up the card. Thiago Moises versus Ludovic Klein. I think this is a very good fight. Very even fight. I'm leaning Ludovic Klein to win a decision. I think Thiago Moises is tough enough to take the shots. But Ludovic Klein is a freaking clean striker. I think he'll be able to keep himself safe on the ground if we even get there. I think he's got good takedown defense still. His Ignacio Bahamondes win still just impresses me to all hell. And he's been on a roll, man. He's been on a roll as of late after losing to Nate the Train. If I remember correctly, it was Nate the Train. I'm actually worried I'm forgetting. Did I mess that up? Whatever. Point still stands. I really like Ludovic Klein to go ahead and win this one. I think he's too clean on the feet for Thiago Moises. And because of that, I think he's going to win without striking Moises and going ahead like that. Nate Landwehr, I'm right. Perfect. Yeah. So yeah, going to Ludovic Klein to win. Next fight up the card. Pinelli Soriano versus Miguel Baeza. This is an interesting fight. Miguel Baeza has an awful chin. Soriano likes to load up. This fight is at welterweight. I believe this is Soriano. No, I'm very sure this is Soriano's first fight at welterweight. I think I'm going Miguel Baeza. He's a tough son of a gun, to be fair. But I think he's going to be able to get a finish. Let's say round 2. I think Miguel Baeza, if the fight keeps going, it's going to just keep playing into his favor. Pinelli Soriano loads up in everything he throws. If he lands on Miguel Baeza probably will go out. To be fair to Miguel Baeza, he's been out for a while. He letting that chin try and heal up, get better as best as possible. I think Miguel Baeza he's just better. He's gonna be a taller guy. He's gonna have a longer reach. Even when Pinelli Soriano is going down in weight class, Soriano's gonna have the weight, not the weight. He's gonna have the power, especially coming down in weight. But I think the speed difference is gonna be speed kills, and I think Baeza is gonna be able to get a win here with that. If I look at the line for this fight, Miguel Baeza is minus 195. I think I might put a small bet on Baeza as long as he's minus 200 or less. But I'm not gonna go crazy with Baeza in this fight. You can get chinned. It's pretty clear. I can't get mad at anyone going with like the slight dog at Soriano, but I wouldn't bet too much on this fight. Neither guy's really to be trusted, but I think Miguel Baeza is going to be able to use his work on the feet to go ahead and win this fight. Next fight up the card: Julian Marquez versus Zach Reese. I'm going Zach Reese here to decision or submission. Let's say submission for the fun of it again. Again, not confident method. I think Zach Reese is going to be able to take down Julian Marquez and do work on the ground with him. And I think that work on the ground is going to be able to get him the win against Julian Marquez. I like Marquez. I think he's really dangerous on the feet. But Zach Reese himself is not bad at all. And I think I like his grappling and wrestling. And I think he's a little bit of a jiu-jitsu guy. Maybe he's more willing to play off his back, and that paid dearly against Cody Brunninger, got slam KO'd. But he does like fighting on top. And I think if anyone's going to be trying to wrestle in this matchup, I mean, Marquez has shown that he's willing to wrestle, but I think it's more likely going to be Zach Reese. And I think Zach Reese is going to have success with that. And he's going to be able to find a submission, I think, or do damage at least on the ground, and maybe even win a decision. So yeah, I like Zach Reese to win that fight. Next fight up the card: Bruno Ferreira versus Dustin Stoltzfus. Is there any doubt? What else? I mean, okay, Dustin Stoltzfus, if he extends this fight somehow, he can definitely win. Because Bruno Ferreira just does not get out of round one. We don't know what he looks like after round one, so that's a little bit of a worry. But I mean, it's Dustin Stoltzfus. That dude's not a good chin. Bruno Ferreira hits like a freaking truck. He's probably... I think he just kills Dustin Stoltzfus, if I'm honest. So I'll be kind of shocked if he doesn't. So yeah, I like Bruno Ferreira to win. Not much of a breakdown really necessary, I think. Next fight up the card: Raul... Why can I say this guy's name? Raul Rosas Jr. versus Ricky Turcios. I'm going Ricky Turcios to win a decision. This is a little bit of a cojones play, but I love Ricky. I think Ricky's scrambles are ridiculous, and I think a guy like Raul, who's shown to have problems with like cardio, like with Christian Rodriguez, I think Ricky Turcios can give that problem to Raul Rosas Jr. And I think, I mean, if you go to war with Ricky, man, that's tough. It's tough to go to war with Ricky. Ricky he's always going to come forward, and he's always going to bring a big fight. Besides the Ayman Zahabi fight, which is one of the weirdest things. I've never seen Ricky fight like that, and I hope he never fights like that ever again. But it was out of character. I think Ricky Turcios is able to win this fight and really put it on Raul Rosas Jr. I think it's worth a small bet. Nothing crazy. Don't want to go crazy with it, but I think Ricky Turcios is able to win this fight. Yeah, I like him in that fight. Next fight up the card: Dominic Reyes versus Dustin Jacoby. I think Dominic Reyes finds a KO round 2. It's always round 2 with me. It's almost always round 2 with me. What's wrong with me? This is I know Dustin Jacoby did just KO Kennedy and Chuku and Zekuchu and Chuku. But Dustin Jacoby is not as much of a power striker as like some of these other dudes Dominic Reyes has been facing. Like Ryan Spann is just, he put Reyes out cold bad. Yuri Prohaska, that probably changed his chin forever. There's no denying that. Jan Blachowicz destroyed his body and caught him on the head and put Reyes down super bad to win the championship. And John Jones, robbery. I think most people say robbery. I thought Reyes won the first 3 rounds, but besides the point, I think Reyes is going to be able to find the shot on Dustin Jacoby on the feet. I know Dominic Reyes has now changed camps again, and he's now training with Curtis Blades at Colorado. And I think I kind of like that. I think maybe he can go ahead and even like get a takedown against Jacoby. I think that's possible. But I think he's able to catch shots like Menefield did. And I think just Reyes is going to be able to hurt Jacoby and even get him out of there. People forgetting Reyes can hit freaking hard, man. He's no bum. he's been looking like a bum. I won't lie about that, but I think Reyes is that dude, and I think he's going to be able to go ahead and get the win here. Yeah, Dominic Reyes to find the shot, to do something similar to Alonzo Menifield, find the shot, and maybe even be able to finish the fight. So yeah, I like Dominic Reyes to finally bounce back and get a win. Now we have our main event, Jared Cannonier versus Nassourdine Imavov. This is the fight I'm most excited about, honestly. This is going to be a fun fight. A lot of people going Cannonier. I like Nassourdine Imavov to get a KO in round 1. That's a little cojones. I like the under in this fight, like betting wise. I think an under is not a bad call. So why do I like Nassourdine Imavov? Champ bets. Why do you like Imavov to win? This is going to be my biggest bet of the card. I love the movement of Imavov. We have the bigger cage. Imavov moves super well. Cannonier doesn't move bad at all, of course, but I think the movement is something Cannonier has not faced since maybe Adesanya, but even then, Adesanya is more so on the back foot. I mean, Imavov can be on the back foot too, but I mean, Cannonier got absolutely like picked apart by Adesanya on the feet. And honestly, the Strickland fight was really close too. I think Imavov is a fantastic striker, and he's going to be able to do things like those guys did. Imavov hurt Roman Dolidze really bad, and he was outstriking him perfectly. Dolidze's not great. I'm not going to tell you that. I think Dolidze's not good at all, if I'm being honest. I thought that way for a long time since that Staropoli fight. I think Imavov's going to be able to land on Cannonier and not get landed on as much. If we look at UFC stats, both have great striking strikes landed and strikes absorbed per minute, but the one with the better one clearly is Imavov, and I think some of these are inflated a bit because of Cannonier's last fight against Vettori, where Vettori just took everything on the chin, everything, nothing could miss from Cannonier, and Cannonier hurt Vettori very bad. Not many people can say they did that, so props to Cannonier. He can definitely land, which again leads to the under. And the worry we have with the Imavov is the cardio. But I do want to come back with this. I thought it looked really bad against Dolidze. It didn't look as bad on rewatch. And this is Imavov's third 5-rounder. I think he's only going to get better with the cardio in that sense. I think he has a chance to maybe even wrestle Cannonier. Wrestling Cannonier is no easy task, don't get me wrong. But Imavov's shown he's got that capability to do it. And taking down a guy like Chris Curtis. Not many people can take down Chris Curtis. Like Brendan Allen, who's one of the best grapplers in the division. I think that says something. I think he's going to be able to have that avenue if he wants to take it. I don't think he's necessarily going to need it here. I think the movement, his striking is crisp. And let's not look past Jared Cannonier, who's now older in age. He's 40 now. His last win was pretty much almost a year away from now. He got hurt really bad by Marvin Vettori. I don't think you can look past that at all. Marvin Vettori is not shown to be a great striker, and really a hard hitter. Cannonier got hurt like 2 times in round 1 in that fight before he hurt Vettori and took over from there, which again, impressive, but I don't like being shown that. I don't like being shown you're being hurt. I mean, similar to Barboza was against Lerone Murphy. I don't like being shown you got hurt by Sodiq Yusuff and had to come back at an older age. I think it's Imavov's time now. He's a young gun coming up, and I love him. I love him in this spot. I think this he's got future champ material written. Not necessarily he will be future champ, but I think he can absolutely be one. If he especially if he can get his cardio in order. That's the thing he really, really needs to work on. And if he has the cardio, I don't think there's much you have to worry about. He's going to be able to strike Cannonier and not get struck as much. I think the significant strike bet, someone to have more significant strikes. I think Imavov's a good bet here because of that movement. And his defense is fantastic. We've never seen Imavov get hurt. Like, really, he's never been finished by like a KO or anything like that, which I think is Cannonier's best chance of like hurting Imavov. He can win a decision, obviously. I think he can win a decision, but Imavov moves so well, and I love his movement. I think That's going to play a big factor. Cannonier can, I think he can go ahead and implement some calf kicks. I think he can definitely land kicks on Imavov, but I don't think it's going to matter at the end of the day. I think Imavov's able to get him out of there. So yeah, those are my picks on the card. We can go ahead and look the picks again as a quick recap. If you can let me, please reload. Okay. So yeah, I like Amanda to go ahead and take Puja down because that's the bad part of her game, not great on the ground, and I think she's gonna be able to find a sub. I think Taylor Lapalus is able to keep this fight on the feet and keep his range and land the better strikes against Cody Stamann. I think Eduardo Mora is going to be able to take down Denise Gomes and do good damage and like attack a few subs on Denise Gomes. I think John Castaneda is going to be able to mix up the martial arts, put some wrestling in, use some striking to keep Daniel Marcos on his toes, and even win this fight. I think he's very alive there. Sexy Mexi. Let's go. I think Montana De La Rosa is going to be able to take down Andrea Lee in a rematch and get that back. And Andrea Lee has been showing a lot of holes in that game. If it's on the feet, I do worry for Montana De La Rosa, but I think she knows this is the path of victory she needs to take. And go ahead and do that against Andrea Lee. I think Brad Katona is going to show levels to Jesse Butler. I think he's going to be able to grapple with Jesse Butler and really show levels against Jesse Butler and win pretty easy decision. I think Carlos Prates in a close fight is going to be able to land the better shots, stop the wrestling, but Rodke is a tough son of a gun, so I think he's going to go to decision. I like Prates to win, though, still. I think Ludovic Klein, pretty similar. I think he's going to keep this fight on the feet, land the better shots on the feet, and Thiago Moises is not going to have trouble taking it to the ground, and yeah, Ludovic Klein wins. I like Miguel Baeza in this fight as well. I think he's going to show Soriano levels. You can't just overload everything you throw. And in a weight class you're going down where guys are going to be really fast. And I think Miguel Baeza comes back after a long layoff with a win. I think Zach Reese is going to be able to take down Julian Marquez and do damage and find a sub eventually on Julian Marquez. I think Zach Reese is underrated, and I think he's live to win. Bruno Ferreira gets a round 1 KO. The Hulk will do his thing. Dustin Stoltzfus is not good in my eyes. I think Ricky Tercios is going to get into a firefight with Raul Rosas Jr. I think he's going to go ahead and go to war, make Raul Rosas work, and get him tired and win a decision and win probably rounds 2 and 3. I think Dominic Reyes is going to find the shot on Dustin Jacoby, who's probably going to be winning this fight. I think Dominic Reyes is a good live betting opportunity. And I think Dominic Reyes is able to find the shot eventually and get Dustin Jacoby out of there. And in the main event, I think Imavov can find the shot on Jared Cannonier. He's a young guy. The movement is there. He's been looking phenomenal in fights as of late. The guys he's lost to, the Phil Haas one doesn't age well, but the Strickland, he didn't look that bad in that fight. He looked better in round 5, which is really surprising, to be honest. I think that can go a different way if Imavov trained specifically for Strickland instead of Gastelum in that camp. So yeah, I like Imavov to be able to find the victory in that fight. So yeah, that is the UFC Fight Night Louisville Imavov versus Cannonier predictions. Hope you enjoy. Yeah, have a great one. Don't forget to check out the website, champbetsmma.com, as well as betmma.tips, champbets. And you can see the progress and look at the picks I make and the bets. So yeah, let's keep on making money. Let's keep going. Very excited for this card. Let's go.